There are two ways to read the United States Constitution. The first way is how most people encounter it, as a dense legal manual, structured, precise, and occasionally capable of curing insomnia faster than warm milk. The second way, the way it was intended, is far more demanding. It is a blueprint, a record of argument, a carefully engineered response to a single dangerous problem: how to give power without letting it run wild. This series chooses the second path, not as passive entertainment, but as a disciplined study. A return to first principles. A reminder that this document was not written for perfect people, but for people who understood something timeless. If you don't restrain power, it won't restrain itself. The story begins, not in silence, but in argument. In Philadelphia, 1787, the room was not filled with agreement. It was filled with friction. Men like James Madison took careful notes, not because everything was clear, but because very little was. Voices rose. Ideas clashed. Compromises formed slowly, often reluctantly. Alexander Hamilton argued for energy in government, a system strong enough to act. Others warned, sometimes quietly and sometimes not, that power has a habit of growing beyond its original container. Even George Washington, presiding over the convention, understood the weight of the moment. This was not about winning an argument. It was about building something that could survive one. And so, the Constitution emerged, not perfect, but durable. Signed on September 17, 1787, by 39 delegates, it represented something rare: agreement without uniformity. A living structure, how each episode unfolds. This series does not treat the Constitution as distant history. It treats it as a working system, one that still requires attention. The words are read as written, no shortcuts. Because what the Constitution says matters. But just as important is why it says it, the problems it was solving, the failures it was correcting, the compromises it required. Who said it? The debates come alive through the notes of James Madison. Not as mythology, but as real disagreement. Voices like Alexander Hamilton bring urgency. Voices grounded in caution bring restraint. And between them, something balanced begins to form. Signers and dates history is not abstract. It happened on a specific day, September 17, 1787, when 39 individuals chose agreement over collapse. Not because every concern was resolved, but because enough were addressed to move forward. Satirical interlude. The mirror held up gently, not mockery, but clarity. Because sometimes the best way to understand a principle is to see what happens when it's ignored. A government designed with limits slowly expanding its reach. Temporary authority treated like permanent ownership. A rule book consulted selectively, often after decisions are already made. It's the kind of irony the founders would recognize immediately. Imagine building a system of checks and balances, only to watch future generations treat those checks like optional features. Not malicious, just convenient. Stoic. The Stoics understood something the framers did too. Systems don't sustain themselves, people do. Justice ensures fairness in governance. Wisdom recognizes limits. Courage defends principle when it's inconvenient. Temperance restrains power before it needs to be restrained. And perhaps most importantly, focus on what can be controlled: understanding, action, responsibility. Accept what cannot: imperfection, disagreement, time itself. If Book 1 asked who holds power, Book 2 asks something more precise. What should one person be allowed to do with it? The executive is designed to act, but not to rule. Authority and defense, balanced by the ever-present need for restraint. A reminder that in a republic, power is never owned, only temporarily entrusted. There's a quiet irony in modern life. Phones are updated, systems are refreshed, policies are revised. But the one framework that governs all of it, the Constitution, is often left unread, unexamined, and occasionally misunderstood by those most eager to operate within it. It was never meant to be worshipped. It was meant to be understood. And perhaps the most satirical truth of all is this: the document designed to limit power is often least studied by those who seek to use it. The Stoic ending, not an ending at all, A constitutional republic is not self-sustaining. It requires citizens willing to think clearly, to act justly, to hold the line, not loudly but consistently, without spectacle, without constant recognition. Because in the end, the Constitution is not just a document, it is a discipline. And like all disciplines, it only works when it is practiced. Help us restore our republic. Vote Rachel Fox for U.S. Senate this November 3rd.